In this video, we'll be discussing Andrew Yang, a New Way marketing campaign, a case study by Tammy Kim and Jerry Yemen. This study covers how Yang, a relative unknown with no political experience, was able to make impressive headway in the 2020 presidential election thanks to a group of loyal followers who spread his unconventional message online. Before we get started, we should note that political campaigns are controversial and that everyone has their own beliefs on these topics. While this study covers a political campaign, our purpose is to analyze the marketing tactics employed by Andrew Yang and his team and not support or denounce any of his political stances. We ask that all discussions on this topic are respectful and focus solely on the discussion question without expressing any personal political opinions. Before we dive into Yang's campaign, let's discuss how an individual running for president gets to the debate stage for their party. If a candidate meets all the requirements for presidency, being a natural-born citizen of at least 35 years old, who has lived in the U.S. for at least 14 years, they can file to run for president with the Federal Election Commission. They must then gain recognition from voters and the party they wish to represent through campaigning and fundraising. The candidate must then meet the public support criteria to be selected to participate in primary and caucus debates for their party, after which the party holds a national convention to pick their official nominee. So an individual running for president must meet polling thresholds and fundraising thresholds to be selected to be part of the Democratic or Republican debates. Is Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang is a native of New York State, born to immigrant parents, who received his bachelor's degree in economics and political science from Brown University and later attended Columbia Law School. He later became an entrepreneur and began raising money for charities. His nonprofit, Venture for America, worked with college graduates to create jobs in U.S. cities based on entrepreneurship. In 2014, he released a book called Smart People Should Build Things, which discussed the failings he perceived in the American education system and economy. Yang's initial support came from a group of young people who discovered his message online and identified with his approachable personality and unconventional stances. They began to post memes about him and spread this message on social media. The group called themselves the Yang Gang. Yang clearly positioned himself as, quote, not a politician on his campaign website and promotional materials. His persona as a, quote, self-declared Asian math guy and, quote, political outsider gave him credibility in introducing unconventional ideas. His ideas on social issues align closely with those of other Democratic candidates, but he positioned himself as an alternative for voters on both sides of the aisle who are burnt out with the broken political system. Some of his ideas included the Freedom Dividend, through which every U.S. citizen over 18 years old would receive $1,000 per month, and human capitalism, which prioritized employee well-being over gross domestic product and the use of automation and AI. Other positions, like expanding Medicare, focused on using the systems in place to make life easier for citizens. He displayed, quote, self-deprecating humor and approachable campaign tactics, like referring to himself by his first name in his campaign website bio, and interacting with the public on a Reddit Ask Me Anything forum. By balancing this demeanor with his background in entrepreneurship, Yang was able to portray himself as both a fun, nerdy guy who wanted to help the American people and an expert in economics. So this is where the math logo comes in, Make America Think Again, and the fact that he was using data, simple math, to support these claims and these positions. This really drew this young audience to him because they said it's just simple math. He's giving us the data to back up all of these ideas that he has for the future. This messaging inspired the Yang Gang, these young voters, to spread the word about Yang's campaign on social media channels like Reddit and Facebook, and make numerous small donations, raising his approval ratings in the polls and helping him meet the Democratic National Convention's thresholds for 1% of their sanctioned polls and 65,000 individual donors. Watch this clip of Yang's interview on the Joe Rogan Experience, where he explains the benefits of UBI with data.
Basic income. There's two questions that come up. How much money and where is it coming from? So first, I want to say that if you look at the heritage of universal basic income, it's a deeply American idea where Thomas Paine was for it at the founding of the country. And then Martin Luther King was for it. Milton Friedman, the godfather of conservative economists, was for it. And one state has had it in effect for 37 years, where everyone in that state gets between $1,000 and $2,000 a year, no questions asked.
This is Alaska?
Yeah, it's Alaska, and they fund it with oil money. Mm-hmm. And what I'm going around telling people is that technology is the oil of the 21st century. We're spending about $1.5 trillion right now on 126 welfare programs and Social Security. So the $3 trillion actually shrinks a lot very fast because of the fact that about half Americans are already getting various income support from the government. So the real price tag is closer to about 1.8 trillion if you say everyone who's 18 and up. Now, for context, the entire U.S. economy is now 20 trillion, up 5 trillion in the last 12 years, and the federal budget's 4 trillion. So you're looking at 1.8 trillion. It's a lot of money. We all know that right now, most Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. 57% of Americans can't afford an unexpected $500 bill. So you put $1,000 a month into their hands, it's going to go right back into the economy. They're going to spend it on food, childcare, car repairs they've been putting off, the occasional night out. And then all of those businesses end up hiring more people, and then we end up getting some of the money back as tax revenues. We're going to get back, let's call it $400 billion in new tax receipts because everyone's going to be spending more money. We're going to save $100 to $200 billion on things like incarceration and homelessness services and emergency room healthcare. It's a great incentive to try and stay out of jail because, you stop getting it if you wind up in jail.
Watch this clip of one of Yang's supporters speaking about how Yang caught his attention and what most appealed to him about his messaging.
Start the Philly Yang gang way back, as I said on stage, way back in February or January. But since then, I sort of taken over, so I go to UPenn, so I've sort of taken over the Penn Yang gang now. But, we've done canvassing and phone banking. Make sure you do phone banking.
Phone banking, everyone, very important.
Most important. And, things like this, which was so much fun tonight. Yeah. But yeah.
You said you first started following them back in January, February. That's a little kind of early. What made you so drawn to Andrew Yang before I'd say he really went into the mainstream?
Well, actually, I first got into him, or I first heard about him on a Reddit AMA in March 2018. And at the time, I couldn't even think about what's going to happen in 2020. I was still, it was way too early. But then I heard him on the Sam Harris podcast in June. And what really did it for me was when he came to Penn in October. And I saw him speak. I had a conversation with him afterwards, and he was just this totally genuine guy, so empathetic, but also so fact-based, so, data-driven. And it struck a chord. I've never seen anybody like this, and it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to make a difference. And I guess that's what it's been from there. It's been a journey.
Yang's popularity among his superfans allowed him to best experienced politicians like former New York Mayor Bill de Blasio and then Senator Kamala Harris. He also gained more attention on Twitter than any other Democratic candidate by the sixth debate. Yang's appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience also boosted his popularity, leading to greater mainstream recognition and increased donations. He also achieved a handful of celebrity endorsements from actors like Donald Glover and Nicolas Cage.
Not only did this help more voters get to know more about Andrew Yang, but this catapulted him to the big leagues with campaign donations. The Yang Gang was known for making memes, video games. He was even championed on social media, showing up at rallies, and even provided an endless supply of $20 at the time. So it's safe to say that he wouldn't have been noticed if it hadn't been for this super fan base who he greatly appreciates.
This quote, Yang Gang anthem, made by a supporter, showcases the kind of media that the Yang Gang was disseminating online. Now, while this is an entertaining list of Yang's policies, it could be perceived as somewhat frivolous for a presidential candidate and may have hurt Yang's image in the long run.
Yang Gang 2020. 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 Yang Gang, yeah, yeah. Yang Gang 2020. Yang Gang 2020. Yang Gang 2020. Yang Gang, yeah. I want 1,000 a month, 1,000 a month. I want 1,000 a month, 1,000 a month. Let's get this bread, freedom dividend. Are all y'all paying attention? Automation gonna sweep the nation unless we get him in. Andrew Yang 2020 freedom dividend. Yang Gang 2020. Yang Gang 2020. Yang Gang 2020. Yang Gang, yeah, yeah. First we get this money, then on 420. He gonna give some high fives to some high guys. Decriminalize marijuana so we can smoke if we wanna. Down with the opioid trend, up with the mental health thing, yeah. Math, yo, it's just math. Yo, it's simple math. Yo, can you do math? Yo. Eliminate super PACs. College stars making stats. Student loan forgiveness plan. Cops wearing cameras and climate change is real again. Science rules. Teachers bringing home some bread. Medicare for every citizen. That's nice. Andrew Yang 2020 freedom dividend. Yang Gang 2020. Yang Gang 2020. Yang Gang 2020. Yang Gang, yeah, yeah. Yang Gang 2020. Yang Gang 2020. Yang Gang 2020. Yang Gang, yeah, yeah. Yo, a vote for anyone else is like negative $1,000 from your pocket every month.
The campaign and business world. Andrew Yang knew that he needed to be innovative in his approach to reach other audiences, or in this case, cross the chasm. See, he was a Taiwanese American from New York with a degree in economics and political science from Brown University, and he graduated from Columbia University School of Law in 1999, but he had no political background. So how was he going to convince voters to elect him? So Yang decided to take the approach of creating a team with various skills such as finance, media, communications, and more, along with his social entrepreneur, philanthropic background to take a different approach, which was unconventional marketing as a newbie. So his team decided to, print lawn signs, seek public opportunities such as cutting at a community center, canvassing, fundraising, speech writing, scheduling, advanced team leading, even a dinner, possibly, seeking endorsements, and field management. Business and politics, do they matter, you might ask? Andrew Yang was getting appearances. He was becoming known by all audiences. He even got an appearance on The Daily Show, but more than him coming off as a serious person, it actually turned out to be more comedy when he appeared on The Daily Show. Not only that, but he equally got negative responses to his policies, some of which were called numbers and nerdy stuff, and maybe even a doomsday candidate, according to Trevor Noah. But in contrast, his reputation was saved after making an appearance on the Making Sense podcast. After this, he gained more attention, more name recognition, and all the perks of what would make him a good presidential candidate. And this included more fundraising opportunities and thousands of followers on all social media platforms. Yang's debate stage speech. Was it a success? Now, as we recalled earlier, Yang didn't have any political background, although he was very bright in the world of entrepreneurship and philanthropic work. But we didn't know how he was going to compare against others who had decades of experience debating. Some of those big political powerhouse names included John Delaney, Cory Booker, Bill de Blasio, Julian Castro, Tulsi Gabbard, Jay Inslee, Amy Klobuchar, Beto O'Rourke, Tim Ryan, and Elizabeth Warren. Although his first debate wasn't a success, being that he wasn't really able to speak, he made up for it in the second and third debates. In his second debate in Detroit, popularity is what helped Yang, but the third debate really set the stage for how successful Andrew Yang could possibly be. Not only was the third debate a success, but this debate particularly is what helped him catapult to popularity because he targeted youth. And when he made the promise that it would be beneficial to all by talking about the freedom dividends, which were saying that $1,000 a month for a year to 10 families who share on his website, why it would help him. And this also was a debate that showcased his best digital marketing.